Narcissistic individuals don't do responsibility. They feel entitled to do as they please. They're willing to exploit people to get their needs met. They're arrogant enough to believe that they are always right. They're very envious of others, and they lack the empathy to care for how their behaviour affects those around them. Therefore, they act before they think, and then if they get caught in the act, they try to find a way to shift the blame so that they don't have to be held responsible for their behaviour. They will also happily go all out to play the victim in any given situation to exploit other people's compassion, so no one dare call them out on their behaviour. And if you do call them out, there are several gaslighting, blame-shifting phrases that a narcissistic individual will use in order to twist the situation to their advantage. And gaslighting is a form of manipulation where they're going to get their victim to question their own sanity, doubt their own reality. So when you call them out on something, a narcissistic individual can simply just turn around and claim that never happened. They have a remarkable ability of forgetting about things that happened and remembering things that never happened. So call them out on something and they'll say, that never happened. Or when you say, oh, I didn't realise that was happening. I told you, why can you not remember? And you can think, I'm sure they didn't tell me. And it gets you to the point where you believe you're losing your own memory and you become more forgetful around them. They can turn around and claim, if you hadn't, then I wouldn't. Again, passing the blame on to you, sort of that snowball effect of if you hadn't have done that one action, they wouldn't have done this action, which in a narcissist's eyes, they believe that they are right in the things that they are saying to you, which is why they are so convincing. If you suspect that they are cheating on you, if that intuition is telling you something, they will just accuse you of having trust issues. They're going to blame your instincts and your feelings rather than their actions. They will accuse you of being hung up on your past, because we all have a past. We all have past pains from one thing or another. Narcissists don't deal with these very well. They just use them to play the victim so that they can exploit people, so that they can put the bare minimum effort in and get their needs met by people. Narcissistic people can be some of the most hurtful people you could ever meet, and if you call them out on it, they'll accuse you of being unable to take a joke. They were only joking. They were only messing around. What's your problem? They will accuse you of being too sensitive to a situation because they're incredibly insensitive people. Now, this isn't about discussing facts that might potentially hurt another person's feelings because you're stating a fact, you're stating a point. Narcissistic people will just simply make stuff up to hurt you, and they are also looking for ways to be triggered by you so that they can play the victim and gain the sympathetic attention. They can turn around when they don't want to discuss anything and just claim they don't want to argue with you. And then when you try to discuss the topic of conversation at hand with them, they turn it into a major argument to claim, see, this is why I can't discuss anything with you. I told you I didn't want to argue with you. And then they stomp off and fall silent and go and impress somebody new. They can outright overtly just claim, that's not my fault, because they're not going to take responsibility for their behaviour. Or they can turn around and claim, why do you have to make everything so difficult? So you are made to feel responsible for everything that's going wrong for them. A narcissistic individual, if you try to call them out in public, can just turn around and say, stop trying to make me look like the bad person. What about? Their whataboutism is a classic when they're going to turn it on to something that you've done that's completely off topic to what they've done, so they can get you on the defensive, explaining and justifying yourself to them so they don't have to explain and justify themselves to you. When it comes to dealing with narcissistic people, it's about recognising their patterns of behaviour, recognising you're not going to get that conversation or that answer from them if it's not going in their favour, and walking away, leaving them to go and live their life while you go and live yours.